Yo, what's good, everybody? Fam, this is one of the craziest things I've seen, man. This is wild. Kawhi Leonard reportedly has been getting paid under the table through the Clippers organization and Steve Ballmer through a finessing of Aspiration LLC, right? Shout out to Daniel, man. Shout out to you. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday, football Thursday. Eagles going to show out, and they're going to destroy. But, bro, this really became viral yesterday, right? So I've literally had all day, and then all night to think about this and how everything was going. And, fam, this is literally one of the wildest stories that's really came out through in NBA history. This is definitely going to go down in the books. And I just think about, what's so funny? I think about the Clippers' bad luck in all of this. Because for some reason, the Clippers just have terrible luck. You know, the owner before was a racist, and now Steve Ballmer, it seems like, I wouldn't say he's a racist, but he's definitely a swindler, bro. So it's real crazy what's been going on, especially with the Clippers organization. But I'm going to show you guys real quick a clip of Pablo Torre and basically his findings and basically how everything started to go viral about Kawhi Leonard just finessing money. This guy's insane. But here, let me play this for you guys real quick.
What we know is that NBA executives were suspicious of how Steve Ballmer's Clippers landed the most valuable free agent on the market, Kawhi Leonard. That the NBA did not find that Ballmer got Kawhi by sweetening their offer. Mm-hmm. But also that in March 2025, this celebrity-endorsed, multi-billion-dollar, allegedly fraudulent tree brokerage named Aspiration, which promises to clear your conscience and your emissions, they filed for bankruptcy. And this is where the clue is. What David's looking at with his glasses on is a bankruptcy filing, and there's a list of creditors. The entities to which Aspiration and all of their alleged fraudulence still owes the most money. And what I noticed is what David is noticing right now, which is that on that list of creditors, up near the top, above the Boston Red Sox, is an LLC, a tiny little company that Aspiration owes $7 million. And that LLC's name, David, is what?
KL2 Aspire LLC.
And what does it list there under manager or member name?
Kawhi Leonard.
Whose NBA jersey number, just to connect all of the dots here, happens to be what?
Number 2.
So then the question is, the Aspire part of KL2 Aspire LLC, right? Because, okay, he's getting all this money, millions of dollars. What I started doing was scour the internet for any mentions of Aspiration. Any appearances, tweets, quotes, Instagram posts, anything by Kawhi Leonard endorsing Aspiration. And this was hard to find, which also might seem weird, right? Because every other celebrity Aspiration gave money to was well known. There was Drake offering a statement to Rolling Stone. There was Doc Rivers, Kawhi's own head coach. Robert Downey Jr. was cutting his commercial. That was the whole point of paying the A-list Avengers. But the grand total number of times that I found Kawhi Leonard ever publicly referencing Aspiration, 0 times.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard mentioned Aspiration. And so what I started doing was reaching out to dozens of former Aspiration employees. A grand total of 7 of them ultimately agreed to interviews, which is also how I have exclusively obtained this signed and executed document.
In consideration of the rights and benefits granted to company hereunder, the company will pay KL2, which is Kawhi, $28 million in cash during the term of this agreement. Company will pay KL2 $7 million each year of the term.
That is Kawhi Leonard's autograph. I convinced one very important person who worked in the finance department of Aspiration to go on tape.
And I didn't so much as discover it as I was told about it.
What was your reaction? What were you told?
My reaction was, what the fuck? And I was told, like, oh, these are the major contracts and the major players you really need to be aware of. And we went through a litany of, really, really top tier name contracts. And then, oh, by the way, we also have a marketing deal with Kawhi Leonard, a $28 million organic marketing sponsorship deal with Kawhi. And that if I had any questions about it, essentially don't, because it was to circumvent the salary cap. LOL. There was lots of LOL when things were shared.
Did you ever see proof of Kawhi Leonard marketing or endorsing Aspiration in any way?
Never, not once. The single largest payment to an individual for marketing that Aspiration ever made has completely evaded all press. It's honestly incredible. Nothing. He didn't have to do anything.
In other words, Kawhi Leonard got from Aspiration a $28 million no-show job.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm honestly so jealous. So jealous. I mean, he's got the dream. Like, it's within my beliefs to be paid $28 million and do absolutely all as well.
The Clippers, however, provided a statement on behalf of the organization and owner Steve Ballmer, which reads in part, quote, "Neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to Aspiration. Any contrary assertion is provably false." End quote.
All right, so so this is crazy. Shout out to Lambo and Tank, man. So basically, to sum up the video, right? You guys all seen it right there. I can't really show all of the podcast because then, like, what are we doing? Shout out to Pablo for his findings. But man, basically, so the reason why he's bringing up Robert Downey Jr. and all these other celebrities, I think Leonardo DiCaprio and guys, right? Because there's actual proof that they marketed those individuals, right? So, I mean, those individuals marketed the company, right? Kawhi Leonard, what Pablo talked about before, is that Kawhi Leonard, his role in this agreement was for marketing. He, as a superstar, as a A-list superstar, is going to market the company. That's big sponsorships, right? You market the brand. This man, Kawhi Leonard, didn't even market the brand, fam. He didn't even market the brand. So, yeah, when they're giving him $7 million a year, typically what's supposed to happen is, okay, $7 million a year for a superstar, Kawhi Leonard, to sit here and talk about my brand, maybe do some social media posts, maybe go to some gatherings that we're doing, events that we're hosting, right? This man, Kawhi Leonard, shout out to Tank right here, brother, didn't even give them a repost, bro. Didn't even give them a repost. So, which is why Pablo, in his mind, said he's like, okay, this is not making any sense here. If this man isn't even marketing this brand, why is he over here getting paid? Why is he getting paid? Kawhi Leonard is the master of making money while not getting paid. I mean, he's the master of getting paid while not working. This guy's insane. I got to give it up to him. I got to give Kawhi, I got to give it up. This man is a finesser. He's one of the best finessers I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, it's something to marvel at. This guy, bro, like, how do you do this? He just knows how to get paid. But listen, it gets worse, guys. I'm not going to lie. There's even more to this story, right? Let me share my screen right here. Hold up. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Right? Because there's even more to this story. Let me shut this up here. So Mark Cuban, right? Mark Cuban won. He's even tweeting about this. He's even talking about, yeah, Steve Ballmer, he's on his side and everything, and that, Steve Ballmer, he just got wrapped into a scam that he didn't really put money into this. And shout out to Pablo because, Pablo's over here, wants to talk about it on podcast. And when I scroll up here, it seems like Mark Cuban says, thanks for having me on. How long did we talk? Almost 3 hours. Looks like they did a show recently. And I can't wait for that show to come out. But this is what I really want to key in on, right? This guy, John Corrales here, right? He wants to talk about how Kawhi Leonard's deal was not just $28 million. Kawhi Leonard's deal was actually $48 million, guys. Guys, there's an extra $20 million that this man Kawhi Leonard finessed. And then this is where the allegation with Steve Ballmer comes in, because Steve Ballmer invested $50 million to that agent, to that company. So if we do some quick math right here, 28 plus 20, that's $48 million with his $50 million funding investment. It really looks like Steve Ballmer is giving this man Kawhi Leonard another paycheck to supersede the cap, which is illegal in the league. People don't know the reason the cap is over here. The reason the cap is made for NBA and teams is so that NBA teams just can't keep paying for the best players, because if they do it like that, then the Lakers or big market teams like New York Knicks, right? The Lakers, New York Knicks, even the Clippers, right? They're LA market. The richest teams are going to have the best players. So the cap is created to create more stability and more fairness among the league, right? So when I go over here to this, bro, guys, this is just crazy. So when we go over here, let me share my screen over here. Let me see if you guys can see this. I can't see it pretty well. Let me zoom in one more time. So I want to show you guys something in this article here in the Boston Sports Journal, because this is very key here. There we go. Right. So the $28 million that he's getting for over right here, right? The $28 million that he's getting, $20 million deal was paid quarterly in installments over 4 years, right? That's the 7. But it was not only compensation received. Kawhi Leonard also had a side deal to get $20 million in company stock. $20 million in company stock, which was going to be paid out. So this is where the Steve Ballmer allegations come in, because as we see in the second paragraph, that brought the total of promised compensation to Leonard $48 million. And around the same time, that also included a $50 million investment from Ballmer. So, guys, I'm not going to lie. It's really looking like the man got $28 million paid quarterly for each year, $7 million, and then you add that up. Then there was another $20 million that he got in stocks. At the same time, Ballmer gave the company, invested $50 million. And again, this man, Kawhi Leonard, didn't brand nothing. Kawhi Leonard didn't brand anything. He made no posts, did no events, did no commercials, made no songs. This man, Kawhi Leonard, was getting paid for free. So this is why when people talk about Kawhi Leonard's extension and him, the Clippers landing Kawhi Leonard, they're sitting looking at it like, okay, wait, this really looks like a way for you to pay Kawhi Leonard more money than is actually allowed, because he's a max player. He got the max deal, but you're trying to give him extra on the side. It really looks like that. And then when we look at, listen, and people may forget this, Uncle Dennis is Kawhi Leonard's agent, right? Uncle Dennis was talking to the Lakers and Jeannie Buss. This man wanted part ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers. He wanted to private planes and all the nine, and he wanted to get more money on top of that with Jeannie Buss. So Kawhi Leonard, when he was looking around when he was leaving Toronto, looking around to go somewhere, he was even asking Jeannie Buss. Uncle Dennis was asking Jeannie Buss about all of this. Extra money, private planes, and part ownership. Bro, this guy, he's trying to get it whichever way he can. So when we look at when we look at Kawhi Leonard and what he's done in the past and see this story come out now and see how he's putting no work into getting some of that money, it's really hard to say that, yeah, Kawhi Leonard, like, this is a fake story. It's really hard to say that. Because even I'm gonna show you guys this tweet right here, right? Let me show you this tweet right here as well. So we got this tweet right here from John Gabadoro, right? From what I know from sources, when Kawhi signed with the Clippers, the Toronto owner Larry Tannenbaum was beside himself because he believed he bent over backwards for Kawhi, including calling 3 sponsors to meet Kawhi's demand of an extra $15 million in endorsement money. This was brought to the attention of Adam Silver as a concern over the cheating going on in the league being out of control, but no action was taken. So this man Kawhi Leonard was even talking to the Toronto Raptors, talking about extra money. This man Kawhi was talking to the Raptors, even them, about extra money. So he talked to the Raptors about extra money. He talked to the Lakers about extra money. He talked to the Lakers about part ownership, fam. Like, that's insane. So, yes. So when it looked, and Uncle Dennis was a guy, this is even before the story came out. Uncle Dennis was a guy that was known, like, that was a big thing. That was a big thing that happened with them. And last thing I'm going to show right here, look at this picture right here. Hold up. Let me see. Yeah, you guys. So this is another reason to highlight that this is definitely aspiration, that they were definitely in cahoots with Steve Ballmer for him to be signed to the Clippers, because it says, for avoidance of doubt, if Leonard is still being paid by the team, but is a member of another NBA organization or has retired, either of those instances shall qualify as a triggering event for termination by the company. In other words, chat, Kawhi Leonard, if he left the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, if he retired, the payments he was getting from aspiration were going to stop. They were all going to stop. If he left another team or if he retired, they were going to stop. So Pablo did an amazing job, I'm not going to lie. So Pablo did all of this research to find out that a random, like, ask yourself this, a random behind tree company cares really that much about the team they're going to? They're a tree company for climate. They care that much about where you're going to, what organization you're playing for. So much so that if you leave that organization or stop playing for that organization, yeah, you know what? We're not going to pay you anymore. Does that make sense? It makes sense if Steve Ballmer was on the other side. Like, man, make sure you pay that guy. Make sure he's committed to stay on the Clippers. And make sure he will never get to nowhere else unless he stays on my crew. Bro. Yo. And Clippers are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. You deny. You've denied, but I'm not going to lie. This looks very bad for Steve Ballmer. And if the Clippers are guilty of this, right, man, I'm curious. I'm curious to know how many times has this actually happened with other teams. So what's his name? Pablo said, well, now he's going to look into Jalen Brunson's contract. He's going to look into Jalen Brunson's contract. Look into, what's Ty? Shout out to you, Ty. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to Shift God. Shout out to all you guys. I miss Ty. But he's going to even look into Jalen Brunson's contract and look into his sponsorships, because he's sitting here, well, you know, if Kawhi Leonard didn't, he was getting paid max dollars. What if Jalen Brunson is doing the same thing? Bro, this man's about to be, don't chief on Pablo, bro. Don't play with Pablo's money. Pablo's going to find out. This man is about to do a whole investigation on his own time. This man is doing this on his own time. Salute to him, man. Pablo, yo, salute to him, man. That's a grinder. That is a grinder. Pablo's, yo. So he's about to do a whole personal investigation on other players. A whole personal. Now, if the Clippers are guilty of this, right, and the Clippers are guilty of this, I wonder what is the course of action of this? What is the course of action that the league is going to take? What do y'all think is the course of action that the league should take, right? Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers cheated the league, bypass the cap so that Kawhi Leonard can get paid more money. What are they going to do? Because they can't even take away their draft picks because all of their draft picks are gone. So what can they do? They're going to take the draft picks from like yo, the Clippers are not going to have a first-round pick. The Clippers are about to not have a first-round pick for the next 8 years, bro. That's insane. That's insane. They're not going to have anybody to play for them. So, me personally, honestly, what should happen in my mind is Kawhi Leonard should get fined a lot. Because this is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Kawhi Leonard should get fined a bunch of money because he's cheating the league. He's literally cheating the league. I'm not sure which dollar amount. I haven't put too much thought to it. But Kawhi Leonard fine, Steve Ballmer fine. And I'm not gonna lie, Steve just got to give up the team. Suspension is good too for Kawhi Leonard. But Steve has got to give up the team because now you jeopardize the integrity of and not that the league has that much integrity, if I'm going to be honest, but you do show in terms of showing face, you now jeopardize the integrity of the league where the league can't trust you to not be doing no BS like that. And now they got to make an example out of you. So man, this is bad. I'm not going to lie because Toronto could have repeated. Let's dial back. Let's dial back to 2019. Toronto just wins the championship. Kawhi Leonard was the best player. Kawhi had a crazy historic run to deliver the championship to the Toronto Raptors. But because of this little incident here, you killed the possibility of Kawhi Leonard staying on the Toronto Raptors and possibly them repeating. You killed the chances of him going to the Lakers and any other team because you chose to not only just pay him the max, you chose to even give him extra incentives on top of that you weren't supposed to do. So basically, if LeBron James, he's only capped out at $50 million a year, I'm gonna give him 57. I'm gonna give him $60 million instead, even though I'm not supposed to be doing that. And in my head, I'm not gonna lie, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, as Kawhi Leonard, I don't know. This is me at least. And this is just me and my own personal opinion talking, guys. But for me, I'm just sitting here, bro, Kawhi, you got mad bread. Like, you're a millionaire. You're a multi-millionaire. Why are you fiending this hard? Like, yo, honestly, like, Kawhi, you are a multi-millionaire. Hundreds of millions of dollars off of your contracts alone. Why are you going this? Why are you fiending this hard? I don't get that. I don't get that. You are fiending OD hard. Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. You said, I'm not gonna lie. You handle your money right. Majority of these players should be set for life, especially if you're getting max money. If you're getting max money, you straight. Man, yo, bro, money is the root of all evil. Uncle Dennis been that dude downfall, bro, in my opinion. I think he was the one pushing these extra perks. Possibly, Ty. I don't know. Now, Kawhi is a guy that definitely, I'll give respect to Kawhi. He definitely seems like, to me, a guy that takes care of his family. So, of course, he wants as much money as he can to take care of his family. But enough's enough. Bro, you asking for part ownership on the Los Angeles Lakers. Bro, does LeBron have part ownership? Does LeBron have part ownership, bro? You asked for part ownership on the Los Angeles Lakers, fam. That killed y'all talks with the Lakers and Jeannie Buss. Like, fam. So it looks like I'm not. So again, I'm just reciting information here for everybody to know. But man, this really looks bad for Kawhi Leonard and his team. This looks bad for the Clippers organization as well. It just does not. It just does not look like it. This is not a good rep. This is not a good rep. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. I'm very interested to see how this really unfolds and the investigation that. How is the NBA not even? I'm not gonna lie. Why is it taking Pablo? Salute to Pablo. But why is it that this story is breaking not from the NBA insiders? Well, he's actually an NBA insider, but not for people under the NBA, not for people working for the NBA. This is a journalist outside of the NBA finding out all of these things. Man, if I'm the NBA, bro, you gotta get to the investigators, bro. You gotta start getting on these people, man. This is insane. You letting other people break stories about your league. That's wild to me. You got this stuff happening in your league, and you have no clue. This just broke out of nowhere through social media, through a whole independent guy. This is crazy. It's crazy that this happened on y'all watch. Adam Silver, I'm not gonna lie, Adam Silver, like, man, this is bad. And for somebody who created the second apron, well, the Players Association definitely played a part in that. But a guy who also like helped push for the second apron and everything, and talking about team stability and not hoarding players and everything, this happening on your watch is crazy. And we should talk about the second apron. The second apron is dumb to me, if you ask me. But yeah, this is just crazy. This is a crazy story. Can't wait to see what's gonna happen. Can't wait to see how this unfolds, man. And Kawhi Leonard should be suspended and fined heavily. If he is found guilty, and then the Clippers, the Clippers got to find a new owner. If he's guilty, they got to find a new owner. I don't see any other way. I don't see any other way that this can be handled, because this is just insane to me, man. But listen, that's all for today, man. Really just reviewing the Kawhi Leonard under the table stuff and everything. Hopefully this helps giving more people some information of what's going on. Again, this guy got paid another $20 million in stocks. So this man really got paid $48 million under the table. Now, I don't think he was able to cash out the stocks, but think about that. $28 million on top of $20 million from stocks. That's what this man did. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. So listen, salute to you guys, bro. Appreciate you guys. Like the video, subscribe, man. And I will see y'all again, man.
I've been struggling to keep my head held high. My head held high. And I've been struggling to keep this pain inside. This pain inside.